Let's move on to the Google thing that I completely read and know everything about.
So, guys, this week, The Verge, I don't know if you've heard of that news organization,
I have.
obtained
I'm familiar.
old video, an old internal video, it was from 2016, of a Google sort of research project idea thing. I think they call it that, like, innovation series or something like that, where you come up with ideas that are innovative and, like, provocative.
Like a think
Sorry,
tank.
Anyway.
I can't help with that yet.
You keep saying Google. It's driving my
Sorry about
phone
that.
nuts too.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Google. Anyway.
They're listening.
So it was a video titled The Selfish Ledger, and it was not meant for public like consumption. It was an internal video that was created, but it was like created with pretty decent production values. They'd gotten a lot of stock footage. They actually got in trouble for this.
Oh.
The person whose stock footage it was like, you guys didn't pay me for that stock footage.
Because they didn't publish it.
No, but apparently even for internal use, you're supposed to pay it on the stock footage sites. But anyway,
No,
that's
Especially when
less
your company
relevant.
has 68,000 people.
Yeah, and especially when your company owns YouTube, which always blocks people for copyright stuff. So
Yeah, I was going to say
Was
they probably
ironic.
do own it technically because they are YouTube. But
YouTube.
that's-
no, they didn't. The guy's licensed with a stock footage
Oh,
company,
you're kidding.
and he should get money for it. But anyway,
I don't see the watermark, so they must have paid for it.
Anyway.
I don't know.
No, they have an account so you can get download it. And then, anyway.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Doesn't
Anyway.
really matter.
We have a
Not
I
Getty,
get it. We're video
Not
editors.
important.
we have a Getty
Stop.
account.
This doesn't matter.
I think that.
Why are you still talking about it?
It's
Why are you
important.
still
Just
talking?
saying, if you're going to bring up a technicality
There's a
like
stock
that.
video producer out there who's struggling to survive.
You done?
Ah.
You don't look like you're done. You look like you're still
You
trying to
brought
say
it up,
something.
Jono.
So what is this video?
So anyway, the selfish ledger is a concept. So he's basically looking at this idea that Richard Dawkins wrote a book about called The Selfish Gene. It's kind of vaguely like that, but basically it's not that your genes serve you, it's that you serve the gene. So the idea of, like, I don't really understand it. I'm not a biologist, but anyway, it's sort of the idea that genes are selfish. Genes propagate because they gain advantages themselves. It's not that they have a personality, but he's basically assigning it like the behavior of genes is like selfish. So like you can sort of work out what genes will survive based on their ability to serve themselves. The host serves the gene, and the guys are basically applying that idea to your personal data. So there's this idea that you have a ledger, and this ledger is all the things that you do online, all the data that gets collected about you from all the different sensors that you have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And all that.
He made the God Delusion. That's where I know him from.
Yeah, he's like a big atheist guy.
Yeah, he just did a talk in Sydney recently.
Yeah, I think part of that book was disproving the idea that altruism proves that not everything we do is about natural selection. But anyway, that's not really important to this video. The idea that they're postulating is that if everyone has this ledger, that it can be more than just like a history of who you are, of where you've been, but it can be something that you use to identify people, and then you build upon it using AI to identify trends in the whole population. And basically you get an AI to serve the ledger. So you're a carrier of this ledger of information, and it tries to gain more information. So it uses the AI to go, what things don't I know about you right now that I need to know in order to improve this ledger?
And it will suggest things.
It will suggest things. Like the example used in the video is that the AI doesn't know the person's weight yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it tries to suggest them scales and things that they can buy so they can get their weight.
Oh.
And I think in the future, the idea was that, it'll like custom build products automatically and then suggest them to you to buy.
So the ledger is an online document that is pretty much you. Is that the idea?
It's a document. I don't know if it's online. It's with Google.
Right.
It's the cloud, bro.
And it's basically, it's you. It's like all your cookies and all your history, but they're trying to take it to the nth degree. So as
Even
more
further.
sensors and stuff happen, as more tracking is going on. Yeah. And basically they're trying to use the idea that you would pass that ledger on. So basically you are a carrier of your ledger, and a way they're trying to sort of manipulate it. So the idea is to improve the ledger. So like they'll suggest things to you to improve your ledger, but it gets sort of
Oh,
very
like-
Black Mirror.
To improve your life, to improve your...
Yeah, so they say like at
Okay.
first the idea would be that it would be user opt-in, user driven, trying to achieve goals. So this is like this Google resolutions thing. So you'd pick a resolution and then it would suggest things to you as you're going through your phone or as you're doing things. Like getting an Uber where, well, that's the example here. It suggests an alternative that matches the goal that you've selected. But they suggest
catching an Uber, you
it'll suggest other things for you.
like going for a walk.
Walking or using Uber Pool or something like that
Okay,
because
right.
you've selected that I want to be more environmentally conscious.
Oh,
As someone who uses a Google Pixel, they do kind of already do this.
Yeah, so that's the point. Is like Google's defense of this because it's very creepy and it gets very Black Mirror in that you're serving the ledger in a way, and then it turns into later on Google can use the ledger to modify social behavior on a broad scale.
To change you? Or
Everyone.
To
Oh, right.
improve humanity.
Yeah,
and our
basically to
destiny.
improve humanity.
that
So
sounded
it's like
very
putting
computery.
it's like putting an AI in charge of everyone.
It's like iRobot.
But
Yeah,
then
I
at
was
the
thinking that, but better.
Google's defense of this was that it was an internal video. It was not meant to be seen by everyone, and the idea was to do sort of speculative design, in that you speculate things and then you have debates about them and discussions. But that defense seemed very like, so it's speculative design, but now everything you do could help you get towards this goal.
Yeah, if they weren't so already like foot in the door with this stuff already, you'd be like, okay, but like they are.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're
this
doing.
already.
This is your business, Google.
When is this video from?
2016.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So that makes even more sense.
Yeah, it was by Nick Foster. I think he's like an executive. He was in charge of Google X or their X projects or something.
Is that like porn?
Not sex. No.
Why every time?
You'll have to ask Chris that.
Every time.
But yeah, it's pretty creepy. I mean, I guess you kind of hope that that's an overstatement of how much your data actually represents you. I would like to think that if someone found my like computer history, it wouldn't really be that great a description of who I am as a person. But I don't know if that's always going to be true or is
My-
even true right now.
Mine would be so like they would think I would be such an idiot
Hmm.
if they saw
What is the economy?
like they'd be like, why does he know so little about tax? Things like that.
Yeah, I hope this is like an overstatement of how much your data actually says about you. Because obviously, if it doesn't really say anything about you, this is all pointless. Like, it doesn't work. Because you can't modify people's behavior if you have nothing to go off.
But it does say a lot about us. It isn't who we are, but it does say a lot about us. Like
Yeah.
even like if we're scrolling through Facebook, like the amount of time we stop and look at what we look at, it says what we're interested in, what draws our attention. Like not just what we type into Google, but like everything.
Yeah.
You would be able to read into it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't, but some AI could.
You could. Sorry, we just went past another one of the creepy points. Part of the defense of Google in this video is that it was clearly not designed to be a nice looking future. Like, there's a lot of creepy footage in here of like insects and stuff and bacteria. They're clearly not trying to make it look nice. But then I just don't buy that defense just because it's like, this is everything you guys do already. I don't see how it's that big a step for them to go from what they do now to doing this kind of stuff.
If it didn't look so bloody inspirational, I'd probably think differently.
What do you mean?
Look at the slow motion snow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the stuff they stole. That's the stock footage they stole. That was one of the scenes.
Jono, we're not here to talk about stock footage.
Stock footage theft.
That was
Are we okay with it or not? Why did you work in
Honestly.
the industry for a while and then have an opinion about stock footage theft?
It's funny that we are 3 video editors.
Why you gotta bring that up?
Who hasn't stolen some YouTube footage once in a while?
We do it on this show every week.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the future we're going for, where AI is just going to get better and better. I don't know how far that future is away. It's going to get more and more data.
I think with
But-
voice stuff too, it's interesting because I was listening to this guy, Gary Vee, and he was talking about how pretty much all businesses will be going towards this sort of stuff with Alexa and that kind of thing, where everything becomes voice activated. So you're basically asking, and the only way this is going to get better is if they have more data on you, basically. So
define better as in it's more responsive.
It'll be more what's it called, intuitive for what you want.
Yeah, Google's actually pretty terrible at answering our questions.
Yeah, so
Aren't you Google?
I guess if it has more information
The
about
phone's
you
a lot better at
in
it.
a ledger,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
heaps better.
it could probably put into context a lot more things that you ask. So if you ask a question without much context, it might be able to figure out what you're asking without actually asking the full question.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, what the ledger would do. But yeah, I don't know. Super interesting.
We are already sort of in the phase where like AI tries to do stuff to suggest things for us, but it also feels like it puts us in a box or guides us towards a certain direction sometimes as well. Like you might watch one video which has a certain political leaning, and all of a sudden you start getting suggested a whole bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
And it's like you're kind of like I'm going down a tube.
You really
here.
read me wrong there, Google.
I'm going down a tube here that I don't
I was
necessarily
looking for an
wanna go
opposing
down.
view.
No, but you could see where if you did agree, and then you start seeing
Oh,
more
yeah.
stuff that you agree with, and then you're like, oh yeah, then you're fully in.
Yeah, and I read
very
a really
quickly.
interesting article about that, how like YouTube and that sort of stuff, those algorithms are radicalizing people because to get people to watch one more video, they just step it up one notch more extreme.
No, it's totally true.
And they've already got a pretty good map of what, like how to rate how extreme something is based on who watches it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. I've actually been having this problem with researching for this, as in the Apple newsfeed is better about this. It lets you pick what you want to see, but the Google one just does it all for you.
Does it?
And it's all stuff I really want to watch, and it's all news I really want to hear about. But like I have to completely break away from the newsfeed to research for this show because it's all just video games and movie things on my feed. Like,
My Apple News suggestions are terrible because I only ever open your ones and then not stop. They're just for this, and they're always terrible stories.
if you go into the settings, it's super customizable.
Is it? All
Right.
mine are just royal wedding. I don't know how to change it. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I would love on all of these apps for there to be a reset button. So it's like just reset all the information you think you know about me. Start me from the top again.
Sounds like a movie idea.
Well, you've.
Should we talk about nudes for Tunnicliffe?
I'll,
No, we're already over
dip.
time.
let's get nude.
We've hit the hour exactly.
But David Tunney is watching.
So it's a perfect time to stop.
Oh.
Now, this has been Transcendings episode 89. How do you think we went, guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
I didn't think we'd argue so much about stock footage, but we did.
It's important.
Let us know
stuff.
what.
That's why we didn't talk about
you
nudes,
think.
guys.
What do you think about the
Talk
N
about
word
stock
and about how Australia probably shouldn't talk about it? And what do you think about werepups? Do you want one? I kind of do.
Absolutely not.
Should you be able to block people on Twitter if you're the president? Probably not. And Google is just taking over the world, but it seems like Facebook's taking the rap for it.
Google is Sky. Google is
Yeah,
Skynet.
it really does
That's
seem
just-
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every time the Facebook article came up, I'm like, is Google's just like sitting in the corner, just like.
I'm surprised Elon Musk is not concerned about Google.
He's concerned about everything.
Yeah, but
He's been railing against the media lately.
Yeah.
about what?
That's
wants-
a different topic.
yeah.
We don't have time for this.
He didn't
Now,
like what they were saying.
this has been. Somebody doesn't like what the media's saying. That's new.
Whoa.
Good one. I thought he was
Whoa.
supposed to be radical. Let's go to Mars.
Ev said she waited all this time for the nudes.
Oh,
Well, keep waiting.
should we do it quickly?
Send them to group
Facebook
settings.
wants your
Facebook
nudes.
chat.
Bloody 9:14.
To stop? Yeah, because we started late.
We
We
started.
did
at
start late. We
8:15.
did start late.
Let's give them the nudes. I'll do it really quickly. Facebook wants you to send them your nude pictures to prevent revenge pornography.
Makes
So basically,
sense.
they get your nudes, they create a digital imprint of it, so that they can monitor if someone's sharing your photos.
You just see this going so wrong so fast.
They assure you that your nudes will only be seen by a small team of 5 people, who will then create the digital imprint. Can you imagine having that job? That was the only thing I want to talk about.
Sign
There's
me
5
up.
people who are going to get a whole bunch of naked pics sent to them.
I'm just telling you, like leaked nudes. That's where that's going next.
Like, you're gonna leak them?
No, not me. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
okay.
like, just leaked nudes at some point.
Apparently, I don't think it works very well because most people don't have all the nudes of themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
which is literally only works if you have the exact image to get the exact digital
And
fingerprint.
it's like
right?
they put a target on their back. It's like, we have all these. Don't try to hack us. We'll be so secure.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed you're trying to get off Facebook. We've got your nudes, so maybe you don't want to leave us yet.
Do you reckon they'll keep the nudes associated with the person who submitted them as well? Like, so that the
Well, that's
data's
what I'm-
actually there with your name as well?
Well, there's this thing like, how could you? Yeah, I don't know.
But those 5 people, they're going to be messed up.
Yeah, they're gonna see a lot of nudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There.
I think
How
I've
good are
seen it.
nudes?
That's the nude story for Ev and Dip.
Good at nudes.
So we'll see you next week. This has been Trend Settings episode 89. Next week is episode 90. Another
Holy moly.
10-digit one.
We're giving the people what they want, Ali.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to go last, didn't you?
Nudes.
Nudes.
Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
My name is Ali.
Jono.
I'm Batman.
My name is Chris.
This is Group Settings. We're Trend Settings.
not
Subscribe on YouTube, Facebook. Give us a review on Facebook if you feel like it. And then get us in on Google or YouTube because they're the same thing.
Okay, Google.
Now,
Subscribe to Trend Settings.
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that.
Stuff you.
bloody, it's all a subterfuge, man. It's just saying that, but it's collecting everything you're saying.
Check out my ledger.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Anyway,
selfish
we're
ledger.
still waffling. Let's wrap this up again for the 3rd time.
We already did that.
Thanks
Bye.
for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Boy.